Welcome back, my fellow Cybertronians. I'm a lot calmer after my last video, so let's get on with the reviewing of Marvel Comics. This one is going to be the collected edition Space Pirates. It includes the comics Salvage, parts 1 and 2, issues 160 and 161. Salvage, well, it's basically finding Megatron at the bottom of the Thames. Now, if you read the US comics, you'll be wondering where the hell does this fit into our timeline? Because Megatron's supposed to be deactivated on Cybertron. I don't know if I've already explained that to you. I will explain it to you in another video. But yeah, there's a special appearance by Richard Branston in it, who's cleaning up the Thames for publicity, basically. So he pulls Megatron and the battle droid Centurion, who I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was destroyed, so I don't know where this Centurions came from, because he was blown up by Galvatron many, many moons ago at this point. Apparently they've locked in battle and just end up in the Thames, really. Basically Shockwave wants him brought back to deal with Galvatron. So he has the Seacons and the Triple Changers and some of the Seekers retrieve him. A bit overkill, just considering the fact there's no Autobots there at all to fight them. Just like Richard Branson shaking his fist. But takes him back to the Decepticons' castle. And Galvatron just happens to be watching this entire thing. Switch over to Ultra Magnus getting unburied from a mountain by Sparklebots. So they end up having to go find why Shockwave's got Megatron out the Thames, why he's doing what he's doing. They run into Galvatron there, and Magnus has a breakdown because every time he's met Galvatron, Galvatron's beat the living piss out of him. I'd have a breakdown too if I met someone who's beat the piss out of me and tried to kill me, not once, not twice. Is it 3 times at that point? I'm not even sure. But yeah, each time they meet, he gets beaten badly. So yeah, I can understand the breakdown inside Castle Shockwave. Basically, I'm just calling it Castle Shockwave, right? He's got this helmet thing over Megatron. He's trying to bring Megatron back, like the Megatron that was, But for some reason, he won't wake up, and he's fighting his own inner demons, Optimus Prime. Well, I'm completely honest, he's cowering from Optimus Prime for some reason. I didn't mean to kill you, blah, blah, blah. So I suppose if you think you're getting haunted by someone you killed, you'd crap yourself a bit, yeah. But, Straxus, who we all know had tried to take over Megatron's mind once before, he's still in there. His presence is still in there, So he kills the apparition of Prime and then comes for Megatron. Back outside, Galvatron has said to the Sparklebots, take Ultra Magnus away, I don't want to fight because, quite frankly, A's pathetic and B is not why I'm here. The Sparklebots say, no, we have to stop you. So Galvatron proceeds to beat the living pulp out of them. This brings Magnus round. And the name Galvatron no longer associates it with fear, he associates it with a fucking berserker rage. And he proceeds to beat the pulp out of Galvatron. Now Galvatron gets away, but he's been beat, he retreats, That's all that Magnus wanted at this point because he's still uncertain, he's unsteady on his feet. Meanwhile, Megatron beats his own personal demon and, rips this last figment of Jaxus in his head apart, rips him apart. I am Megatron. At this point, Shockwave uses the devices around his head and implants a simple idea of Galvatron is your enemy, kill him. That could prove difficult for Galvatron to fight this one, given the entirety of the whole loop, the whole thing, the time thing there, is some of the fact that he is him. An interesting challenge. So that's pretty much that's Salvage parts 1 and 2. Next is Wrecking Havoc. It's issues 172 and 173. These are all part of the same comic, by the way, and they all lead up to all this was part of basically the massive Galvatron arc at the time before they decided to bring out other collected comics. Wrecking Havoc, yes, this is the first time, this should be noted, this is the first time that Galvatron, Cyclonus, and Scourge have been reunited since Transformers the movie. Because they did Target 2006, then they went back home, Unicron tortured them, off Galvatron went back into the past, and Cyclonus and Scourge were stuck in the future. As you know from the legacy of Unicron comic, they eventually got shoved through a time portal back in time under the command of Scorponok by the bounty hunter Death's Head, who unfortunately after that was never seen again. So this is the first time they all meet up. Now, Cyclonus and Scourge at this point are wanting the time device from Galvatron, which he previously destroyed. They don't know that, so they can go back and enjoy ruling the Decepticons back in the future. At the same time, the Wreckers are gearing up to make an insertion onto Earth to take down Galvatron once for all. unfortunately, they don't know that these three have teamed up. Well, not teamed up. Not teamed up this. Not yet, anyway. It takes the Wreckers to do that, because Cyclonus and Scourge turn up unarmed as specified by Galvatron. But they bring their target masters, who aren't in gun mode at this point. So Galvatron's like, you want to serve me again? You have to start following orders, you know? And they're like, no, we don't want to follow your orders. And these little guys are our guns, promptly transform into their hands. They're like, give us a time device. We don't want any trouble. Yeah, Galvatron's sitting going, well, if I had it, I still wouldn't give it to them. So, bring it on. And they're all about to knock the hell out of each other. Now, this is the middle of a human settlement, by the way, unfortunately for the humans, because then the Wreckers, through a space bridge, drop down onto them, and then, oh dear, they're in the middle of a human settlement. There's going to be a lot of civilian casualties. They're screwed. So basically, at this point, yeah, Galvatron, Cyclones, and Scourge, forget their tete-a-tete for a second and start blasting Wreckers. The Wreckers are trying to do damage control as well and keep civilians from getting hurt while fighting three of the toughest Decepticons this side of Unicron. It doesn't really go their way until, Springer realizes what they're after, like what Scourge and Cyclonus are after. So he jumps at Galvatron by surprising him, because who the hell would take on Galvatron voluntarily? Takes him on, pretends to grab the time device, obviously doesn't have it, and says, I've got what they're after. We're out of here. That's our objective complete. So Cyclonus and Scourge chase him. And Galvatron's like, yeah, so you found the chink in their armor, the stupidity. But do you go and help your leader who's going to end up getting leathered to do Lally by the two of them? Or do you take me down? Because by the time it takes you to take me down, he will be dead. The Wreckers choose to help Springer. Galvatron gets away. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole of that part wreaking havoc. We next have, finally, Space Pirates. We get a prologue first. Redgar is tied up, and there's some guy interrogating him. He wants to know about the package, the item. But it gets explained. And basically, he explains to this guy the plot of the big broadcast of 2006, the G1 episode, which didn't happen in this timeline. And at the end of it, the guy's like, right, I got the confession, I rule, how did I do? And the Quintesson's like, you're an idiot. Sentence is death. Because let's face it, Galvatron's in another time. This didn't happen, that didn't happen. Where is the journal? That kind of stuff. He's like, but I didn't know. And Redgar's like, yeah. If I'm going down, you're going down with me. And that's a prologue, right? It's like 2 pages long. After that, you get the proper Space Pirates. And I'll be honest, I like this comic quite a lot because it's one of the ones set in the future. Rodimus Prime, Ultra Magnus Cup, and that, so it is. It's the first introduction, and unfortunately, I think the last introduction of the Quintessons. Because after this, I don't think you see them again. So, which is a shame. You catch a brief glimpse of the UK character known as Hopper, who basically, by brief glimpse, I mean he gets blown away, But another UK character, I suppose. Soundwave is the Decepticon leader at this point because obviously Cyclonus and Scourge were flung back in time. I don't know if they had to do some sort of ritual Decepticon battle thing to make him leader, but considering the fact he can just open his chest and out pops like a dozen minions, I think he was good, So he's it. As far as I'm aware, once again, this is the only time you see Metroplex, which is a shame because I like the character in Metroplex. But then again, as I'll explain to you in the comic, once he turns up, there's not much of a story left, Basically, and this is my final point before I actually go through the comic itself, this sets up Time Wars. Time Wars is the big one. So we want to get to that. So without further ado, Space Pirates. Basically, Redgar's on Quintessa. He's got a Quintesson canister containing a group of planets that they were looking at for recolonization thanks to some massive rift in time and space, which is going to consume Quintessa. Oh dear. And it turns out, yes, Cybertron's on there, and it turns out, yes, they're just going to go for the big prize out of all those planets because time's running short, So anyway, they launch a 2-pronged attack, one on Autobots at Earth and one on Cybertron. They launched the one on Earth first as a diversionary tactic. They take over Autobot City. There are casualties. The aforementioned Hopper, And then once Rodimus Prime and the others realise we've lost contact with Autobots on Earth, they take the bulk of the Autobot forces and go, leaving Cybertron open to Quintesson attack. So the Decepticons, being informed by the Quintessons of this, decide, yeah, you know, the Quintessons, oh, we need help, blah blah blah. And like, yeah, sure, we'll let you know. We're not going to help you. This is a great opportunity for us to basically take over Cybertron. Woo! So they launch their attack there as well. The Autobots reach Earth, seeing the bodies of their comrades strung up. Now, it doesn't tell you if these comrades are dead or just like shut down. I assume shut down because you see some of them later. But Wheeljack's here. I find that weird because obviously Wheeljack died in the movie. So, don't know what he's Trailbreaker's there as well, but you know, I don't actually know what happened to him. I think he survived the events of the movie. We just don't see him again. Anyway, the Autobots rush in to see what they can do, where they can help. Hot Rod, Rodimus Prime notices that RC is lying down in the ditch, injured but not dead. So he takes out the Matrix to fix her, and this is promptly stolen by a Quintesson on like a floating space scootery thing. Just grabs it and goes. And once it reaches it's out of his distance, he becomes Hot Rod again. Shit. So then you got RC, still kind of wounded, partially repaired by the Matrix before it was stolen, and Hot Rod burrowing through Autobot City trying to get away. The Autobot forces are scattered everywhere and are once again being overwhelmed. Shoot back straight to Cybertron. The Decepticons, who were on their way to attack the Autobots, have now been ambushed by Quintessons and are now once again becoming overwhelmed. They are being shot down left, right, and centre. Unnamed Decepticons seem like kind of fodder kind of characters, so you don't know who they are being blown away left, right, and centre. None of the main ones like Soundwave or the Constructicons, Predacons, anything like that. Astro Train does take a bad hit, which means he has to land, you know, and gets that desperate that Soundwave sends out a distress call to the Autobots, you know, with Ravi's questioning him, do you think they're going to fall for this shit? And Soundwave's like, we're really hoping, because if they don't, we're screwed. All this is happening, Cybertron Earth. Back to Quintessa. On Quintessa, Wreck-Gar has escaped, but he's not doing so well. He's actually getting chased by the Quints, by the guards, Alicons, Sharkticons, and he's about to get, quite frankly, torn to pieces. And he switches, I think it's like some sort of charge in his body from inside to outside, and deep fries all the Sharkticons, but more turn up, and now he's got no power left, really. Q really turning up in an Autobot ship, who makes reference to how he used to once be there, so he was resent back there to spy on the Quints. I think Rodimus just get pissed off with this constant rhyming, let's be honest. And they make a break for it. Unfortunately, the ship is damaged. So while they have to kind of play cat and mouse with the Quints until they reach an asteroid where they abandon ship. And it turns out there's already a Junkion party already there. It's there, and they get the contents of the canister, and they beam this lovely news to all races all over the galaxy that yes, your worlds were forfeit. The Quintessons were coming for you before they decided we're going to take the top spot on Cybertron. Suddenly the Quintessons find themselves with very, very few allies and a hell of a lot of enemies in the galaxy. Anyway, back to Autobot City, and RC has been able to recruit Blaster's cassettes overlooked by the Quintessons to help her hold the Quintessons away, while Hot Rod dives into the transformation chamber and tries to activate Metroplex. He is quite quickly struck down by General Girk, the Quintesson leading the attack. Unfortunately for him, Hot Rod was able to do what he needed to do and woke up Metroplex. Basically, this is the end of the Quintesson invasion because they woke Metroplex up. He's grumpy. So he sees a lot of Quintessons. He just starts flattening them, standing on them, blowing away their ships. This is the death knell for the Quintessons. Of course, Girk still has the Matrix. He goes and gets it. Hot Rod follows. Back on Cybertron, it looks as if that's it. The Decepticon forces are overwhelmed. They are about to fall. When Ultra Magnus and the Technobots show up and start blasting away, having realised it was Soundwave. But unfortunately for them, if the Decepticons fail, the last of the Autobots on Cybertron will be next. Teaming up, they're able to fight off the Quintessons, destroy a great many of them, and fight the last of them off planet. Soundwave says this picture wouldn't be possible without you. Seems to realise what he's saying, and then just goes, no, an alliance, it wouldn't work after everything that's happened. It's too much. The Decepticons get on Astro Train and they leave which I suppose is a kind of thank you that they didn't decide to just take the planet, because they still outnumbered the Autobots, but they were much lower on energon than the Autobots at this point, and many of them were damaged. But that's the end of the invasion of Cybertron. On Autobot City, we find Hot Rod getting his ass whooped by a Matrix-powered Quintesson. And RC shows up and she holds fire. She's waiting. She's like, come on, prove to me, prove to everyone you deserve the Matrix. You deserve to have been the leader after Optimus Prime. And this at this point, Quintesson's got a gun in his hand. He's like, screw you, you're done. I hate you. And Hot Rod, he's thinking, he's like, how do I do this? How do I do it? Ventriloquism, or whatever it's called, the throwing of your voice. And basically, that makes Skirk go, who have I missed? He obviously says it in a direction where RC is not standing, so she doesn't get shot. He's like, there's no one there. Hot Rod rips the Matrix off him, becomes Rodimus Prime again, and he grabs him and holds him over the edge. He's like, listen, while I think this proves that brains matter over brawn, I think brawn gets its say and drops him to his death. Rodimus, full of mercy and stuff. Epilogue to that is that the Quintessons tell their forces, the ones that were left in Quintessa, tell their forces, don't come back home. Don't do it. If you come back home, you're just coming back to a dying world. Best you stay out there to strike back at your enemies. Epilogue 2, Quintessa is destroyed, and then it does tell you, yes, this is related to Time Wars. Quintessa is the first casualty of all of reality and space and time unraveling, coming apart because of not Galvatron, funnily enough. It will be described in Time Wars. Until then, stay safe. I'll see you again soon for the next one, City of Fear. Lovely jubbly.